que je suis un peu italien, alors je fais beaucoup de gestes.
Xavier, you're a head of line production at Focus Home, and for people who don't know, like me, how does work in line production differs from tasks from task producers and Gamedev usually do?
Yeah, well, it's quite different actually. When you work with a game development studio, you will have producers that will deal with artists, coders, designers, and day-to-day tasks to make the game. We are on the publishing side at Focus, so our goal is to support and help the dev studio to create the game. And we need to also coordinate all the actors that will be involved into the making of the game, such as localization managers, QA testers, business, marketing, and so we need a point of contact, a main point of contact on the publisher side to coordinate and manage everyone. And that's the task of the line production team. And so this is the team I'm managing, and we are here really to be the voice of the dev studio at Focus and for the rest of the actors.
Okay.
So it's kind of different, you know. It's really two jobs.
Okay, so and how many tasks a day do you usually have?
Wow, it depends on the days, but the line producer will get builds that they will have to evaluate and give feedback. They can also get some text to be translated. They can get some requests from the marketing team. They will have to ask the business team which language we will use to the game. So it's a lot of many tasks per day. There is also the communication with the studio, call, Skype video, and stuff like that. Meetings also to report to the top management the progress made on the game. So it will vary through the course of the production. We don't have the same task when you are in pre-production compared to production and post-production and live support of the game. So again, a lot of different tasks. Usually in my team, line producers and associate line producer, they work on 2 projects at the same time. So they have also to juggle between priorities.
It should be really difficult.
And yeah, so it changes every day. It's a really they will have a lot of different kind of tasks every day.
Okay, yeah, I see. And also I have some questions about production at Focus Home. Well, unlike other publishers, Focus Home works with games in different genres, like Vampyr, farming simulator, and insurgency. So, how Focus Home chooses projects to work on?
So we have an acquisition team that is composed of people from marketing, editorial team, business team, and also production team that are there to evaluate the project we are getting. You know, at Focus, we are really working on with developers that are bringing their own ideas. We don't contact a developer to say, okay, we want to make this game, please do it for us. We are trying really to find developers with original ideas, and we are here to help them and support them through the production. That's really our philosophy at Focus. And now we are really focused on quality over quantity. So we are trying to find, as you say, we are not really focusing on one specific genre. All we want is something different, something original, something that will appeal to gamer and make a difference in the video game world.
So if some developers are watching this video, they can come to your company with their original ideas and to ask you if it's impossible to work with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the fact is that we are getting a lot of requests from different developers.
Can imagine.
I think that we are evaluating something like 300 projects per year. So it's a lot.
Yeah.
So lots of work for the evaluation team. But yeah, you're right. Absolutely. We are looking for developers.
A lot of people talk about game development becoming more and more complex nowadays. For example, back in the days, a team of 10 people could make a AAA project, and nowadays it's impossible. But what parts of game development became easier, like today?
Good question. I'm not sure that something is getting actually really easier, because I think that players are more and more demanding in terms of visual, gameplay quality, and their expectations are much more higher compared to the past. We also have more powerful device to use, better hardware. So we need really to raise the bar in order to give a good experience to players. So what is getting easier is that I think that the video game industry is being rationalized. It's getting more and more rational. And so we have now, companies like yours that will really take care of localization, and we have now, I think, better process and better tools to use and to make it a bit easier. So, and now we have, for instance, also editors like Unreal Engine or Unity that didn't exist, 30 years ago. So people have to make their own engine before being able to start making a game. Nowadays, it's no more the case. But in the same time, you really need to, the market is growing and there are more and more, competitors. So you really need to shine to exist. So yeah, it's you have more tool to use, but in the end, I think it's more complicated.
Yeah. And could you tell a little bit about your Magic Projects web tool? I know that there is one.
Yeah, true. Wow, I didn't expect this one. So it's a tool that I've made on my own. I made it for one of my previous company that was Magic Pockets, and so at the time, so I was working in a dev studio as a producer, and well, when you work actually in producing, you know what are your needs, and at some point I was like, I couldn't find a tool really that fits my needs.
So you've created for yourself,
exactly.
for your needs. And do your colleagues use this tool in Focus Home?
So not at Focus, because the thing is that at Focus we are really on the publishing side. So it's not a tool that fits publishers, as we said, it's different to be a producer on dev side compared to publishing. So we are not using it at Focus, but some other development company are still using it. It's free and open source, so it's really made for everyone. And yeah, the goal of it is really to make the producer life easier.
Also, on your page in LinkedIn, I read production notes. It seems quite useful. Are you planning to continue writing about the processes in game development and producing?
I love to. I love to. When I get some free time, I try to compile some notes. But yeah, I think that it's a good thing that people can share their own experience and share it with everyone. That's like, yeah, the open source philosophy is the same. So yeah, if I can, I will continue write this. Yeah.
How does working in a major development studio affect your gaming experience as a player? Or if it's impossible to play like
as a
usual
pure player. Yeah. Well, it's same here actually. When you play a game, at some point you will notice, you will wondering, oh, okay, they are doing that. I believe that because they were lacking of time, or oh, they were smart enough to do that to save some money or effort on this, or you will just think, oh, I wouldn't have done this way. So yeah, it's complicated, but I think that we always manage to get back to really a player mind when you get into it. You know, if you really enjoy the game, you will just forget about your work and really deep dive into it. So that's most of the time that's the mark of the good game. It's the one that you will just enjoy it as a player and forget about your own experience.
As a player, what games do you prefer to play?
So I was a huge RPG gamer in the past. I play less since I have kids. It's always a bit more complicated. I hope I will be able to play more when they will get a bit older.
To play with them?
To play with them, absolutely. But yeah, I was a big fan of RPG, action, platformer game. I played a lot when I was younger, and so now I'm mostly playing on mobile. So Clash Royale, Clash of Clans game, and currently actually playing a bit to Shenmue 3. That was really, but it's a nostalgia nostalgia game. So but yeah, I was able to get it and play it a bit.
And what is your favorite game project of Focus Home?
Oh.
I mean, to work on and to play.
It's it's like choosing between your child, your children. It's different. It's very difficult. I know. And no, well, we are working on something like 25 to 30 games at the same time. So it's many games that are very, very different. And really, I couldn't pick one. The great thing working at Focus is to work with so many different projects, different teams. And they are all different, and so it's always enjoyable with different way, with different problematics and stuff like that. But no, it's really great to work on all those projects. I'm very blessed to work on so many interesting projects.
So obviously, I want to ask about the way Focus Home handles localization tasks. I mean, do you have different localization teams for particular projects?
So yes. So at Focus, the localization management is really handled by the line production team. So line producers and associate line producers. So we worked with different companies, different localization companies, and so the line producer is really or the associate line producer, or really the main point of contact of the localization company when we have signed a contract. And they will be, dealing with the coordination of the development studio, the localization manager, and Focus. So that's for the game localization. We also have, marketing team that is also dealing on localization for, community posts and trailers, and they are, dealing with their own contacts for localization. But when it comes to games, yeah, it's handled by line producers, and they will, when we start the localization process, so usually it's around the alpha stage, when we have already a strong and solid localization kit, to initiate the process, send localization kit, different batches, get the translation, get it back, pass it to developers, make a build, test it. Have also some localization QA to be worked on, and in the end, make sure that we have a really top-notch quality for localization.
Another popular question: vendors, freelancers, or in-house localization?
So we don't have in-house localization, but we do like working with vendors that preferably work with their own in-house translator, because we believe it's really important to have people that will be able, to join the project and focus on the project and also really care about the quality that will be provided. And usually, from what we've seen, it's a bit better when the vendors are really have really in-house translators.
Is there anything game developers have to deal with that localization vendors and freelancers never think about when working on their projects?
Well, it's always difficult because when you get a localization kit that is full of small sentences that sometimes are out of context, it's difficult, for translators to really make sure that they are translating the right way. So usually what we really appreciate is that when a translator tries to understand and ask questions to Dev Studio, be proactive on that, and at some point also can play the game to make sure that the translation was correct and fits well into the game, the particular game context. And so we don't have this that much time. So that's something we would really enjoy, to have this level of implication and make sure that I'm doing the right thing for the game. And understand the game. Sometimes it's just a matter of understanding. That's what is the setting of the game, what is the mood, the global mood, to help them.
So it's very important to get involved with the project, to understand how to make it better for the players.
Yeah, that's something that would be really appreciated.
Okay, and do you know any examples when localization or translation turned out to be better than the original? Not even in games, maybe in literature, in movies.
I don't have. I couldn't find any instances. I know some authors that are writing not in their own native language, that are, for instance, are writing in French, but it's really difficult. I remember that for The Simpsons, the original creator was finding that the French voices was really great, even almost better than the English one. So that's another instance, but I'm not sure that he's not saying that for every translation for The Simpsons, and so he's just trying to be polite. But that's another instances I'm thinking of.
Some last questions about yourself. If you were to compare success with any fruit, what would it be?
Success.
With any fruit.
Any fruits.
Yeah.
Well, that would be probably a fruit. I would have to think about this fruit, but a fruit that you would have to really care about, to really be able to make sure that it will grow properly and that you will pick it at the right time. And timing would be really important, because that, to me, that makes a good project. A project that you need to care about. That it is not, a project that is just going on its own and it's okay. No, good projects are the one that you will need to pull your hands on, and also release it at the right time of the year. Because with the competition it's always hard. So we'll have to find the fruit for that.
Maybe it can be, an orange.
Maybe orange, but it's kind of maybe an orange or cherry maybe.
Cherry.
Yeah.
Oh. Success is a cherry. Okay, and as you have many tasks to do every day, I'm really interested. What do you do to recharge? To recharge.
To recharge.
Yeah.
Sport, I think, is really important. Recently, I'm going to the office using a bike, and even if it's more energy required from coming with a bike, you feel more energized. So it's one good thing. I really suggest people to practice sports to be on the right level, and obviously sleep well. But when you get back home and that you have children to take care, usually you don't have to sleep well at night because you are so tired that it's okay.
Yeah, I understand. And speaking about sports, I've read on your website that you used to play tennis.
Table tennis, actually.
Table tennis.
Yeah.
Oh, so do you practice playing table tennis nowadays?
Nowadays, no more. But whenever I have the chance, I do, because yeah, I really enjoy that. But yeah, I played that for a long time.
Do you remember the first game you played?
I think, yeah. Actually, it was funny because I have an older sister that has got a master system. It was we have the same mother but not the same father, and so her father bought her a master system. But at first, it was only in his house. So my sister was just. She just could explain me the game, but I couldn't play it, because it was not in our house. And this game was Alex Kidd in Shinobi World. And so my first contact with the video game was really my sister, telling me this game. And so in my mind, it was something, magical, all she was describing, I was like, oh, but it's crazy, And finally, she got this console at home, and I was able to discover it. And it was, the beginning of a long story with video game for me.
Yeah, okay. And when actually you decided that you want to work in game industry?
Really, I was quite young, actually. It was I was around something like 11 or 12, and at some point I was really like, okay, that's the thing I want to do. I was a huge. I was gaming a lot at the time, so yeah, I decided that I wanted to do that. And everyone around me was like, okay, you're still young, you will see, you will have time to decide. And but since I'm really stubborn, I kept my idea, and so I really grew up and make the proper courses and studies to finally get into the video game industry.
And except games, you are also interested in philosophy, as I can remember.
Yeah, true, very true.
And you even written a book.
Yeah, that's true.
So the book is Les Pensées d'un Gamin.
Yeah, Thoughts of a Kid.
Oh, really? So, and when did you write this book?
Between 15 and 18, actually. So, yeah, I was really fond of philosophy along with video game, and I really wanted to work in video game also to try to mix this, because I think that video game is a good media also to have people try some ideas and confront with some systems. And so video game is also creating a system. You create your own rules, your own world. So lots of connection with philosophy. But at the time, I wasn't working in the game industry, so yeah, writing a book and creating my own philosophy system was a mean to fulfill my own desire to create system.
And in the future, are you planning to write something else based on your actual experience of working with games?
I'd love to. I like writing. I'm not saying I'm a good writer, but I like writing. You've seen my notes on my LinkedIn, and so yeah, it's really a matter of getting enough free time to be able to do that. But yeah, I would like to, definitely.
Okay, thank you for sharing this. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very
to
much.
talk to you.
Same for me. Many thanks.